Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Monday, the 2nd of Rabi'ul Awwal 1445, corresponding with the English date 18th of September 2023. Hazrat Wala is saying, MashaAllah, daily something is said and heard. The silsila and pattern and system has been carrying on for many years. Allah Ta'ala make it beneficial. Hazrat Hasan radiyallahu ta'ala an says, I kept silent or kept a secret from my brother Hussein ibn Ali. Then after that, I said to him what I said, and then I understood that he had already known this, he had already found out all of this before even I could have found this out. He had asked all of this here from his father Hussein radiyallahu ta'ala an, and he had passed it on. He did not say anything without having the full knowledge and the full research on that particular topic, and he did not leave anything just like that. He found out whatever he had to. In short, Hussein radiyallahu ta'ala an says that I asked my father Ali radiyallahu ta'ala an about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in his house. So he said to me that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was permitted, rather directed about these personal needs of himself, where he would come home. And regarding all of that there, it can be categorized that the time there was distributed and into three categories or three slots. One was that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other one was that for the rights of the family, speaking to them some type of laughter, hasna, bolna, and one was that for rest. In that time of the rest, there was also this year that many people would then come at that time there, due to which much of that time also went and was distributed for the ummah. In that time, certain khawas, the elite from the Sahaba, the near ones, those who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to come, and they came, their level of understanding, their knowledge, etc. would come. Meaning, just the common people would not be allowed at that time there. And then he would say to them whatever he had to say to them, and pass over to them whatever he had to pass over to them, so that they could then take it and pass it on to the common masses. Nothing was left hidden. Whether it was concerning the ahkam of deeniyah, deen and religion of Islam, or whether it was concerning matters of the dunya, so long as it had some type of benefit, it was passed on to them. So preference was given to those people of ilm and amal, so that they could come, present themselves, and then they would take it and pass it on to others. In all of that, those people who would present themselves, somebody had one thing that some need, someone had two needs, someone had some more needs than that. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would then busy himself in all of that. So that their reformation, rectitude, and the Islah of the Ummah then could take place. So people would then come and then ask, and then according to their conditions, then they were presented with their answers. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would also go on to say to them that who's not present here should take it. Those who are not present here, the message should be taken to them as well. And then he also went to this level as well, that person who could not present himself in front of me here due to weakness or any other reason, then you people should pass his message on to me. And then he would go on to say that the person who busies himself in seeing to the needs of the people, Allah Ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah will keep his legs firmly established on the bridge, on the Sirat. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in his gathering, all of these type of things were discussed. But other than that, no other talks were accepted there, meaning that other than that which was the needs of people and something that was beneficial, nothing else was spoken about. In simple words, nothing harmful was said, or no useless and futile talks were said there. So here Hazrat Wala is saying, now look at the thirst that they had, that they wanted to find out about the deen. Now Hazrat Tanvi used to say that people regarding akhlaq, maybe there's some amount of akhlaq or some type of attention that's paid to it. But when it comes to muasharat and social conduct, then it is of an absolute low level, even regarding the khawas and the religious. उसके तरफ तवज्जो बहुत कम है. Now listen, here we are speaking about what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam done at home, not what he done in the masjid. Hazrat Wala thereafter goes on to quote the incident of Hazrat Tanvi which took place in a place called Majlis Shahr. So when he went there, on this occasion, Hazrat Tanvi was with Pirani Sahiba, with his wife, and then the other woman also gathered there, and they started speaking to her and saying to her that your husband is such a great person, and that like does your husband even like speak to you, and is there any light-heartedness or some type of joking, etc.? Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, Hazrat Wala is saying, used to relate this to us so much over and over again, that he's such a great peer. Nevertheless, Pirani Sahiba, Hazrat Tanvi's wife, went on to say to them that he talks and there is more light-heartedness than even what you people enjoy with your husbands. So people know this dimension of, they see this great personality in the masjid, and they see this here, and they see that engagement, and they see that seriousness, and they see some great work carrying out, they see piety, etc., but they are absolutely ignorant regarding how is the interaction with their house people and what is actually what happens at home. Nevertheless, this was what we're reading about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at his time, how murattab, how calculated time for this and that and the other. And it is for this reason also, I would say, that Hazrat Tanvi, people had then miscalculated him, that it became famous that he was very hard or harsh. There was this Maulvi from Bihar, and he said that what is this about Maulvi Ashraf Ali? It's become a very, very famous and common. Everybody is saying he's so hard and harsh and strict and this and that. He was a wakil as well, a judge, a lawyer, advocate. Nevertheless, he went, he stayed, he seen, he calculated, he returns. When he returns, all these professionals now come around him and they said, now, what happened? What did you see? And he went on to say that people have no type of etiquettes, culture. This is completely missing from their lives, and this man here has this to its fullest and highest point. Dunya to ho gaya बेवसूल and वो तो है बावसूल. So this is how it was, due to which people have gone so far back from the exact or the original and the genuine, that they then started saying, oh, he is like this and he is like that. I'll give you another example. Hazrat Wala goes on to say that people used to say that Hazrat Tanvi was very sakht. Now what would happen? Because he made zabt and he had so well calculated his entire time for the entire day and night, he would say to people, listen, now somebody would come at this time, that time, the other time. So he would have there, it was his principle and his rule. He said that if anybody needs a taweez, people would come in the hundreds there. I mean, that type of a personality of that caliber, he would say, come after Asr Salat. So, in all of that, more than anything else, was there comfort for him or was there comfort for people? There was more comfort for people, because if a person came any time during the day, Hazrat Tanvi would be busy with his work. He would tell that person, now go, I can't see to you, I can't help you at this time. Could have been teaching, he could have been writing his kitabs, he could have been with his family, he could have been doing this, that, the other. But he would tell them that come to me after Asr. And what was that? What was the actual meaning of that? If you had to come to me after Asr, you would definitely come, get your work done, and you would go. So it was actually comfort for them. You know, on one occasion, Hazrat Tanvi was speaking in his Majlis, and then he went on and he said, you know, some people are such that they are here, but they are absent. They are so unaware of the dunya at that time there. And Hazrat Khaja Azizul Hasan, after the Majlis, comes along and he says, Mauli Wasiullah, do you know Hazrat was talking about you? Anyway, Taqseem, how he distributed his time. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to conduct his majlis and his spiritual discourse. And after that, he would see that people are, after the majlis, somebody would greet someone, speak, and then you would leave, etc. And he sees that people are laughing away there. And this disturbed him tremendously. He went on to say that, listen, I just conducted a majlis. Did it have no effect on the people or what? He addresses me, Hazrat Wala is saying, and he says, Tum us ka khulasa karo. So people would sit there and there's some type of chit-chat talk. Whatever I said, you take the crux and the gist of it and you relate it to people so that they can take something that, okay, we're taking this message. So they were all great personalities. Hazrat Wala is saying himself, I was the youngest of the lot there. So the whole 1 hour bayan, I had to give a summary of that. And when I used to do that, these people would become so happy and they would leave. There was a great alim there also, and he would say, I'm sitting in Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib's talk, and he was speaking about intricate, delicate articles of suluk and tasawwuf, and I would think in my mind, I wonder what just and khulasa will he give us today. And when the time would come, he would get so happy that I was able to encapsulate that exactly the essence of what Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib was trying to pass on to them. In simple words, Hazrat ne ek kisam ki mashq karaya. Hazrat actually put me through some type of training which he wanted for me. So anyway, we're speaking about Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the distribution of his time, and then we went on to Hazrat Tanvi. We said there's some type of nazm and tartib under which they would do work. So jao, khulasa karo. You know, when people used to come to Hazrat Tanvi, I mean, they had to, now you came, at least, well, what do? You introduce yourself, this is who I am, this is where I've come from, and I mean, you have to say other things as well. He would ask you that what's your purpose of coming? Now the robe and the awe of Hazrat Tanvi, and then, I mean, a simple basic etiquette, you would actually have to say that, listen, are you eating in, or have you made arrangements for your food? Now that was something technical and of utmost importance. You had to say that, and why was that you had to say it? Because now you came in, your name is noted down, food is going to be prepared for you, and on the other hand, you made arrangements for your own food, due to which that food then goes to waste. And people would come there, and what do we say? They would stumble at that point, they would actually fail at that point. Some people, they were so awe-stricken at that time, or overwhelmed by the awe there, that they could not even say their name or where they came from. From amongst them was the brother of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, and he went there and he started dribbling there and stuttering and stumbling, and someone said that, Hazrat, ye Mauli Wasiullah ki bhai hai. The Hazrat, this is Mauli Wasiullah's brother. At that time, there was some ease, and he managed to escape and come out from there. So nevertheless, coming to that point, जो मैं बयान करूंगा, आप अब तुम उसका खुलासा बयान कर लिया करो. जो मैं बयान करूंगा कमर ज़मान, उसका खुलासा बयान उसका खुलासा कमर ज़मान बयान करेंगे. That was the announcement that was made, that whatever I say, Qamar Zaman is going to give you people the crux of it. In short, that was what was said from his masnad to the people that attended their gathering. I went on doing this here for years, many long years, in front of great luminaries and seniors as well. And as I was saying to you people, this alim would say, I wonder what khulasa is going to say today. Nevertheless, after presenting it to them, he would then become very, very happy. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's habit and his way and his tarz and tariqah was that of so much of i'tidal and that of moderation. There was nothing that was unsystematic, that it was just done like this or like that. It was always in the well-wishing nature for the ummah and for the people. Nothing was done in negligence. That, or nothing was just left just like that, even for the people. If they had to be left alone, some would go into complete negligence, and others would then go and beyond all bounds and go into exaggeration, due to which they would become tired of the deen. So, at every given point in time, there was a special system in place in the khidmat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Regarding the rights of people, there was no deficiency. And he never ever overlooked those who were downtrodden and had nothing for themselves. Those who were most close to him were from amongst the best of people. And who would be the closest one to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The one who had the most well-wishing nature. Anyway, we're speaking about, this is how Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's gathering was. But we go on to this point here, that there was this buzruk, and then after some while he would carry out istighfar, and people would say that, Hazrath, now what is this? He say, it's greatly possible that I may have, could have said, we're not talking of sins or slander or backbiting, something that was not appropriate for the occasion, la yani, useless or futile or unbecoming or inappropriate. So this was how meticulous our akabirin were. There was this incident of this buzruk. He lived in the same locality of the muhaddith and the traditionist, and people asked him, but Hazrat, have you been to the majlis of this great muhaddith? He said, of course, I went to his majlis and I heard one hadith from him. Min husni islamil mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni. From the beauty of the Islam of an individual is that he abandons that which does not concern him, that which is useless, that which is futile, that which has no benefit whatsoever. He says, I hardly managed to completely practice on this. I'm still trying to get rid of the useless and futility in my life, that I can then gain the opportunity to go again and learn something else and then come back home and practice on it. Look how much their nazar was upon practicing upon something. So amal karna zaruri hai. The essence is that to take something and to make amal on it. Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb used to say so abundantly that, listen, you people come and you people go. You go to gatherings, you go to majalis, you go and sit and you learn. But listen, go with irada. Go with niyat that I'm going. In that majlis, you're going to listen to so many things. But tell yourself, at the least, I'm going to make amal on one thing, due to which in a year or in the passage of a time of few months, so many, one point you would learn from every majlis at the least, due to which so much will be accomplished in a short period of time, and such a change can come, so much of amal will come. So here on the point where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would keep closest to him the one who had the most well-wishing nature. He was not the one who was slandering others or making, putting this there or a spanner in the works, adding this there and adding this there, trying to pollute the mind of the senior. There is a great need for this here. And this is of something of great importance. And the status of the one who had the most ghamkhari. He was the closest one to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was be able to help. He had the well-wishing nature and he could share the pain of people, not coming there and speaking against the people, no. Then I asked about the majlis of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that what was Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's sitting, standing, etc. He answered that whenever Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam sat or he stood or he done this or that, it was always done with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He never would dedicate and designate a specific place for him in the gathering, that due to which now others then would be inconvenienced, that he would come and now he would now have to make someone stand, or others would come and then other people would then tell them, don't sit here because this place is for this or that. Whenever he would come to the gathering, then at the end of the gathering, where the last person was sitting there, he would then seat himself, because that's where he should seat himself. And he would not give a hukam and an order to the other attendees there, or those who were sitting, to stand. He would give the desired attention to each and every one. He would address them specifically. He would turn his attention to them completely and totally, to such an extent that every person thought that I am the most dearest to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when a person would come with his need to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to occupy himself with this person. He would not leave until that person was there. So whoever came with whatever need, he never left until his need was fulfilled at the hands of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not that one who was frowning. Rather, he always had a most pleasant disposition, always smiling and pleasant. And regarding rights, every person was equal to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, of course, there was some type of difference when it came to that of taqwa and piety. Their preference were given to some over others. In the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was talk about tolerance, knowledge, bashfulness, sabr, amanat. That was what was in his majlis. Voices were never ever raised, and the honor of anyone was never ever taken. No person's faults were spoken about, and every person was humble in front of the next. The elders were treated with honor, the youngsters were treated with compassion and love, and the one who was in need was assisted, and those who had no shelter were sympathy was shown to them. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was always smiling. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not harsh or hard. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not praise someone more than he deserved, and if there was something that a person needed to be taken to task for, that was also done, all within moderation. And it was done in such a way that that person would then not go away from there despondently. Rather, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would remain silent, due to which the person would then understand the message. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam protected himself from three things. One is that of riya, in ostentation. Number two, speaking abundantly. And number three, futile talks. So, Allamani Rabbi fa'ahsana ta'alimi. My Rabb taught me, gave me ilm, and he perfected the knowledge that he had given me. He taught me adab, culture, manners, etiquette, and he perfected that quality of minds as well. This kitab is a fantastic kitab, the Kamalat and Nubuwat. It is a compilation of many risalas put together of Hazrat Maulana Shah Muhammad Ahmad Pardhabgari. We made a lot of mehnat and put this kitab together. But today, who's there to listen? Who's there to read? People don't even bother buying and purchasing such kitabs, due to which they can listen to the talks, read the talks, understand, learn about the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that it can become common, it can be passed on to others. So when we speak about the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when we speak about fattabi'uni, that follow me, then what does it mean? It means and speaks about the spiritual dimension as well, the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.